Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on the government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Vaughn Davis, sitting in for Enthros Campbell. Today we'll be talking about the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, the BLC, and their annual gaming license renewal activities. We have with us in studio Mr. Maurice Thompson, Director of Licensing and Registration at the Commission. Mr. Thompson, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Vaughn, and I'm really happy to be here this afternoon.
For the benefit of those who may not be so familiar, can you let's start by talking a little bit about the BLC's mandate and its mission.
All right, so the BLC has three primary mandates. I'd like to put them in order. One is to protect the customers' interests, and the customers are the persons who participate in all gambling activities. Two is to ensure that the gambling market is developed in a structured and disciplined manner. And three is to ensure that opportunities are there for entrepreneurs to invest in the market, in a fair market, and all the opportunities are there for them to invest in this market, lucrative market.
All right, fantastic. Now, Mr. Thompson, this time of the year, March into April, is usually a busy period for the BLC and the different segments of the gaming industry, correct?
Correct.
Right. This is regarding the renewal of licenses. Now, talk to us about the process. Of renewing the licenses for the different segments of the industry, and for persons who need to have their license renewed. Tell us about that.
All right. So the process. You're correct. March 31st, most license, gaming machine license, bookmakers permit, and persons who do sports betting, those licenses expire by March 31st of each year. Persons need to renew their license on or before March 31st for getting themselves eligible for the next period. Persons would have already had a license, so they are instructed, directed to go to the Commission's website, get the forms, complete the application forms, which they would already been familiar with previously. Because of the COVID restrictions this year, a number of new opportunities are coming where persons don't have to, that face-to-face interaction has been reduced. So persons can pay, after paying the TJ, Tax Office Jamaica portion of the fees, they can either pay the Commission's portion through the Commission's bank account, or for the first time in our history, pay at any Bill Express outlet. Get those two copies with the complete application. They can either use a drop box to drop the application off, or they can use a courier to send in the application.
All right, so you went through a couple of things there. I would like us to slow down a little bit and talk about the different documents that you'll need and the different fees and so on that you have to pay. So let's go slowly and just talk about the individual things that they'll have to do as well.
So the primary license application is to be the gaming machine operators. That represents not the most lucrative, but in terms of numbers, our biggest demographic. Persons, first must be directed to the website where the application must be filled out. After filling out the applications, the fees are paid in two portions. One, TAJ, Tax Administration of Jamaica, and the BLC. The TAJ fee can only be paid at any TAJ offices. However, the BLC fee, which previously you had to come to the Commission to pay or pay through the Commission's account at Scotiabank, can now be paid at any Bill Express location island-wide. Having had paid those fees with your completed form, you put those together. You can either drop it at the Commission where a Dropbox facility is in place for licensee, or you can send in those documentation through a courier, and your applications will be processed.
So are there special requirements or criteria that persons have to meet before making applications for licensing, and what kind of, and the related fees and so on? Are there particular requirements of individuals, operators, and that kind of thing? Speak to that for me, please.
All right, so for new persons entering the market, you have never entered before, there's a particular requirement. Persons must be fit and proper. So the prerequisite to enter the gaming market as a vendor or a licensee, you must pass a fit and proper. So if you haven't done a fit and proper, we won't be able to process your license. So that represents the first step in terms of getting into the gaming business. Having done your fit and proper and gotten a license, that renewal process now involves just completing the forms, paying the requisite fees, and submitting those forms and fees to the Commission for renewal.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about that fit and proper for persons who might be curious, because it does indeed sound very intriguing. What does that entail?
So the fit and proper exercise speaks to the commission looking into your background as it relates to your criminal background. A police record is needed. Your financial background. What's important for us at the commission is that the funds that you're using, your source of funds to get into the industry. For example, you want to buy some gaming machines. We're interested to know where were the source of funds to acquire these machines. So the commission will investigate where you get their funds from. It also speaks to your character. So we'll also do personal interviews with persons that you have worked with or lived nearby. Our law, the Betting and Lotteries Act, doesn't allow us to grant you a license if you fail this process. All persons who enter the market must first pass that fit and proper test.
Indeed, well said. Now, let's take a quick break and come back for more on these crucial activities that underpin the operations of the betting and gaming industry. Stay with us.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running. Because we ready for the ops. Drive up on your block. Step out now me block. Cyber take a boy your laptop. Pull up every lock. No evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. Sin you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. They say you get where, look out for. Look out for. Look out for. From you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. They say you get where, look out for. Look out for. Look out for.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA. MOCA.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're talking about the BGLC and its activities that ensure fair and legal betting and gaming on the island. We're talking with Mr. Maurice Thompson, Director of Licensing and Registration at the BGLC. Welcome back, Mr. Thompson. All right. So what are some of the consequences where license applications are not submitted to the BGLC by the date of expiry? What are the penalties and when do these penalties apply?
All right. So penalties are twofold. The less severe penalty is you have to pay a penalty on the fees due, which can be up to 60% if you miss all of last year. And it can be as low as 50% if you miss the first quarter. So if you pay after June 30th, you pay a 15% additional fee on it. If you miss a complete licensing period and come back after 1 year, you'll pay 60% in addition to the fee last year. But that's the least of the problem. The bigger problem is your fit and proper. Having not complied with the conditions of your license, which states that you must renew your license on or before March 31st, the person runs the risk of losing your fit and proper status. And as I alluded to earlier, if you lose your fit and proper status, it makes you ineligible to operate within the industry.
Big problem.
And that's the major problem.
All right. So is there any consideration given to persons who are having a little bit of difficulty in getting their licensing in order and getting documents and so on? What kind of advice or support does the BGLC provide? So
at BGLC, we've always understood our customers. We've all tried to understand our customers. So we ask that persons, if and when the date is coming around for renewal and you realize that there's an issue, the first thing you need to do is write the commission, inform the commission of the challenges.
Contact you.
Yes, contact us as soon as possible, and we will work out any issue you might have. We'll work it out with the person or persons.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that. I'm sure they'll appreciate it's not a draconian situation.
And a number of persons have called on the commission from time to time, and we have assisted. And especially in this pandemic time, we understand, especially a lot of the premises that house machines, bars and nightclubs and so on, because of the restrictions, a lot of those premises were closed. So we understand persons might have challenges in terms of finding suitable locations all we ask is for the persons to just inform the commission. We see ourselves as a partner. We want to help you and assist you.
Right, so both can partner together and make sure that the system works perfectly.
for everybody concerned.
All right, so now having gone through the process and gotten their license issued and so on, what are the specific responsibilities of each operator to, to make sure that they're working within the ambit or within the regulations that are outlined by the BGLC?
All right, so as I spoke to, one of the main mandate of the commission is to ensure we protect the persons who play. So persons who play gambling activities at licensed, you must ensure that the premises is licensed. One of the things that you can look for, the license must be conspicuously displayed on the premises.
Right.
The machines that you play also needs to be licensed, and each machine has a license disc, similar to the license disc in your car, that indicates the year. So for example, for this financial year, you'd see a disc on the machine, 2021. It means the license expires March 31st, 2021. For next year, you'll see 2021, 2022. It means the license expires March 31st, 2022. The Commission also has a list of licensed premises that are put on the website. So persons, if you live in St. Elizabeth and have any concern about whether our premises is licensed or not, you can go to the Commission's website and find out. And if even that fails, you can always call the Commission to find out if a particular premises is licensed. So that's the risk. The responsibility of the owner is to ensure that the licenses are displayed. Only licensed machines are on your premises. So I give you an example of one. So you license 5 machines legitimately with the Commission, but you think that you're going to squeeze 2 unlicensed machines on the premises.
2 extra ones.
2 extra ones. That is going to impact your fit and proper status going forward. Okay, so your responsibility is to ensure that whatever the conditions your license is, you're licensed to have 10 machines at this premises, premises A. Premises A must be licensed, and 10 machines on all the machines on the premises A must be licensed. If for whatever reason you want to move in the machines can be transferred. It must be done in a legitimate manner, and you must ensure that those machines are transferred in a legitimate manner. Because a machine licensed for premises A and moved to premises B without the requisite transfer being done, it becomes an unlicensed machine.
Okay.
Or the machines are licensed to a particular premises. Yes. So the responsibility of the operator is to ensure that, as I say, we're not draconian, and we understand the market. So if you have identified a location that you think is a more lucrative location, all you need to do, it doesn't even cost you.
Just contact the BGLC and make the necessary arrangements. Now, I'm thinking it would be in the best interest of persons who come to these establishments to make sure that the machines or the boxes or whatever they're using are licensed. Would there become an issue if I use a machine and there becomes an issue I have a challenge with the owner, operator or something, and then I find out that the box or the whatever is not licensed? Right, what would the issue there?
So when we started the conversation, I spoke to our mandate, and the first mandate that I always try to tell persons is to protect the persons who play machines. So whether you buy a lottery, gamble machine, horse racing, or sports betting, our mandate, our edict is to protect you, the persons who participate. If you go to a premises that is not licensed, and if you play machines that is not licensed, we can't protect you.
I think that speaks for itself.
Okay, so I think that is clear for everybody. So if you want the protection from the BGLC, you participate in gambling activities at premises that are licensed by the BGLC. We can't help you if you gamble outside of the premises that are not licensed by us. All right.
So on a related matter now, how does BGLC ensure that persons are complying with the regulations and the license and the terms of their license?
Okay. So we have a compliance department, and subsequent to the license being issued to persons, the compliance team goes out into the market, one, to ensure that the licenses are displayed in a conspicuous position within the location, and two, that the number of machines that are licensed for particular locations matches the number of machines that are actually there, and that the discs are on the machine. Because what I find, Vaughn, is sometimes persons with licensed machines, we give them the disc, they take the disc, and before they reach home, so you're in Westmoreland, you pick up your disc in Kingston, and before you reach on the disc, you leave the disc in your car, and for months after. That's also a breach of the conditions. So the Commission's compliance team ensure that the disc that all the discs are placed on the machines, because the disc is what the consumer, that's the only thing the consumer can use to know if this machine that I'm playing has been licensed by the operator.
All right. So to switch tack a little bit, let's talk a little bit about some of the BGLC's corporate social responsibility activities. Talk to me about the different ways in which the BGLC helps to provide give a hand and lend a helping hand to members of the community.
All right. So our two major outreach programs is the scholarship opportunities that we provide to Jamaicans, tertiary level students. I think since 2014, we have done over 1,000 students in this education program. And the other program is the Rise Life, the addiction alert. The Commission considers, we regulate gambling, but we want gambling to be done in a responsible manner, meaning adults who gamble should not do it, risk their savings, their livelihood, their families, and nobody, person under 18 should gamble. So we are the 100% sole financier for Rise Life Jamaica, where we provide in that addiction tip helpline support for persons. So we have programs within gambling operator organizations that we provide training for the persons who work in gambling establishment, for them to identify persons who they might think might have a problem. And there are programs where persons can withdraw themselves voluntarily from programs, because it's not about the taxes, the fees, and the money alone. We understand we have a bigger purpose, and as we say, gambling must be done in a responsible manner, and that is what we promote: responsible gaming at all times.
All right, so Mr. Thompson, for persons who may want to get more information about the licensing process and the related documents and so on, where can they go to get more information?
As it relates to the licensing documents, persons can get all license-related documents at www.licensing@bglc.gov.jm. In terms of the wider BGLC programs and so on, they can go to www.bglc.gov.jm.
All right, fantastic. Well, gaming operators and owners, over to you. The ball is now in your court to do the necessary things to ensure that your machines are licensed when the current licensing period expires and the new one begins. All right. Now, that's where we're going to end today's conversation. I'm sure we've left many persons much more edified about the role that the BGLC plays in wider society and the different ways in which they impact our gaming industry. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest today was Director of Licensing and Registration at the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, Mr. Maurice Thompson. For more information on the BGLC's licensing requirements, visit their website at bglc.gov.jm. Until next time, I am Vaughn Davis. Thanks for watching, and please take care.